All right, let's talk about something I think a lot of us have felt. You know that feeling? You're following all the budgeting rules, you're tracking your spending, but at the end of the month, your finances are still, well, a mess. You're left wondering what went wrong. Well, what if the problem isn't your discipline, but the system you're using? What if you're trying to use a monthly roadmap when you're actually on a weekly journey? It turns out how often you get your paycheck can change literally everything. So let's dive in and figure this out.
And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of the matter. We hear so much one-size-fits-all financial advice, but this suggests that's a massive mistake. Trying to treat a weekly paycheck like it's just a mini version of a monthly salary, that can be a recipe for constant stress. So let's explore why this mismatch happens and, more importantly, find the right approach that actually works for you.
So it really all comes down to two totally different ways of thinking about money. We can call them a flow mindset versus a structure mindset. The key idea here is that your pay schedule shouldn't just determine when you get paid, but it should fundamentally change how you plan your entire financial life. Let's take a look at how these two paths really diverge.
And here you can see the two worlds, side by side. On the one hand, if you get paid weekly, you need a flow focus. This is super tactical. It's all about managing the cash coming in and going out right now. Your entire horizon is basically just the next 7 days. The real psychological win here is that it cuts way down on decision fatigue. You only have to solve for 1 week at a time. But on the other hand, with a monthly paycheck, you need a structure focus. This is strategic. You're basically the general of your own army, planning for the entire month ahead. It's kind of like the difference between playing checkers and playing chess.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the weekly paycheck. If this is you, your goal isn't to build some kind of rigid 30-day fortress around your money. No, it's much more like successfully navigating a river. It requires being agile, managing your immediate needs without getting pulled off course by the current. This is the art of mastering that weekly flow.
So, what does a flow focus actually mean in practice? It means your number one concern is the here and now. You're not worrying about a bill that's due in 3 weeks. You are laser focused on one thing, making sure you have enough for groceries, gas, and whatever else you need to get you through the next 7 days. It's a really responsive, present-focused way to handle your money.
Okay, so let's break down the strategy. First, when that paycheck hits your account, your only job is to make sure the immediate week ahead is totally covered. That's it. Then, and this is so important, you deal with big monthly bills like rent by splitting them up. So if your rent is, say, $1,200, you set aside $300 from each weekly check. It's a simple little trick that completely prevents that huge panic at the end of the month. And finally, you operate with zero assumptions. Don't spend money you haven't received yet. This mindset keeps you grounded in reality.
All right, let's switch gears completely. Now, if you're on a monthly or bi-monthly schedule, that flow mindset we just talked about, it'll actually leave you really vulnerable. You're dealing with a big lump sum of money that has to last a long time. Your job is totally different. You need to build a strong, stable structure for the entire month. A structure focus is all about being proactive, not reactive. The whole idea is that the second your salary lands in your account, you already have a blueprint for where every single dollar is supposed to go. The question stops being, what should I buy today? And it becomes, am I following the plan? You're giving every dollar a job to do before you even have a chance to spend it on an impulse. This gives you an incredible sense of control and, honestly, peace of mind.
And this hierarchy, it is absolutely non-negotiable. First things first, before you buy a single coffee, you handle all your fixed costs. Rent, utilities, debt payments. That is your foundation. Second, you build your buffer. This is where you pay your future self, whether that's through savings, investments, or an emergency fund. Only after those first two steps are completely done do you even look at what's left. That, and only that, is your flexible spending for things like going out to eat or entertainment.
This quote just nails the core difference, doesn't it? The weekly system, with that automatic bill splitting we talked about, it creates these natural guardrails. It's pretty hard to overspend on the 10th of the month because the money you need for a bill on the 25th literally isn't in your account yet. The monthly system, though, that requires pure discipline. You get this big pile of cash on day 1, and you have to trust your plan and yourself to get you all the way to day 30.
So, we've laid out two very different but very effective systems. But there is one final golden rule that makes or breaks either one of them. In fact, ignoring this is probably the single biggest reason why most budgets fail.
And here it is. It's simple. You can't mix these two systems. They're like oil and water. If you get paid weekly but you try to plan for a full month ahead, you're going to feel broke and run out of money halfway through.
And if you get paid monthly, but you only think a week ahead at a time, you are going to get blindsided by those big bills at the end of the month. You have to commit to the system that actually matches your real-life cash flow.
And that really brings us to the most important takeaway, which is a question I want you to ask yourself. Looking at how you get paid, are you supposed to be managing a flow, or are you supposed to be building a structure? Because just understanding which path you're meant to be on, well, that's the first and most powerful step toward finally getting control of your finances for good.